Time now for some news from the left. John Fetterman's team has lost its collective mind, mimicking a Coca-Cola ad with Mean Joe Greene of the Pittsburgh Steelers from the late 70s. Here is John Fetterman.
I just want you to know I'd vote for you.
Hey, thanks, kid.
You want a drink?
Nah, no.
Really, you can have it.
Okay. Thanks.
See you around.
You'd think that a politician would be a better actor than a football player, but you'd be wrong about that one. Fetterman and his team putting out very bizarre stuff, a weird ad like that, but the left-wing media will defend this man no matter what. Take a listen to this one.
I was happy you released an updated letter from your doctor, and it's clear your post-stroke struggles are not cognitive and would not hinder you as a senator.
Oh. You can't make this stuff up from Hairdo over there. If you're consuming anything from the mainstream media, we would advise you to stop after listening to that. Moving on, Jimmy Kimmel says he threatened to leave his late-night show if he wasn't allowed to rip on Donald Trump.
I get it if that's what they want to do. I just said, listen, if that's what you want to do, I understand, and I don't begrudge you for it, but I'm not going to do that. So, you know, if you want somebody else to host the show, then that's fine. That's okay with me.
Now, you know, I would actually respect that if he did that for every political candidate, and if he would just, you know, if they'd go along and just, if SNL was attacking everybody, I'd be fine with it. I'd even sit there and watch Alec Baldwin and laugh. But because it's so ridiculously partisan, that's where you lose everybody. And now you've got Jimmy Kimmel. He's basically probably threatening to quit if he's not allowed to kiss Joe Biden's butt. Threatening to quit if he can't destroy Trump. Threatening to quit if he can't push and, you know, support a Democrat as much as he can. Just ridiculous politics there. Next up, Stephen Colbert falsely claiming Republican Tudor Dixon in Michigan invented the story of a man who switched from Democrat to Republican and reported his son's school library had books teaching little kids how to have sex. Watch this.
Dixon's not the only one worried about this issue. So is this guy she totally made up.
I had a gentleman come up to me just a few nights ago, and he said, I found content in my school library describing how to have sex to my son. I went to the Democrats, and I said, I cannot believe that this is in there.
Okay. Fine. That happened.
Oh, you and your dumb audience. The man Tudor was referring to actually revealed his identity and confirmed the story to the Detroit Free Press. Well, that forced Colbert, being such a smart guy, to have to issue an apology.
Well, it turns out the Detroit Free Press talked to this guy, and he's real. So I'd like to issue a rare correction. This very real person deserves an apology because, he says, to claim that I'm not here, I don't exist, I'm not human, that's absolute ignorance. So I would like to apologize. It is a terrible thing for someone to deny your very existence.
Moving on NBC, there is a horrible drama called New Amsterdam, apparently. I've never seen it. Designed for people who are emotionally defective. Here is a clip of how this show encapsulated the Supreme Court decision on Roe versus Wade. You're going to love this. Can you imagine? Imagine taking these people seriously. I want to meet the people that created something like that. I just want to pick their brains. What's in there? I mean, imagine the emotional disaster that these people must be to put something together like that with a straight face. Up next, one of the most toxic cable news hosts on television, Tiffany Cross, over at MSNBC. We show her a lot. Out of a job. Sources told Mediaite her comments and coverage did not meet MSNBC standards. They let her go. Network had talked to her multiple times, apparently, about the issues before they cut ties. They pointed to two specific issues, apparently, repeatedly warning of a civil war, and her latest appearance on a show where she called Florida the how do I put this, the phallus of the country. Here are some of her greatest hits.
To see all these black men crashing into each other with a bunch of white owners, white coaches, and the complete disregard of black bodies and black life. People keep saying a civil war is coming. I would say a civil war is here. And I don't mean to be hyperbolic. We can look at what has happened just in the past week alone. This is about the fact that a good chunk of voters out there are okay with white supremacy. Let's call a thing a thing.
So she had all the fire of Joy Reid without all the intelligence, and now she's apparently out of a job over at MSNBC. And finally, speaking of Joy Reid, here's Joy on inflation.
What they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right?
Yeah.
Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote.
Did you have to be taught the word inflation? Was that a recent thing for anybody in this country? Did people really not, does anybody believe that? Did you not figure out what inflation was when everything at the grocery store costs like, half as much again? I mean, is that a serious, how do you say something like that on TV? It's just so outwardly dumb. I don't understand how you could even make that claim. It's been taught to people. Oh, really? Nobody realized that the cost of things were going up. They had to be taught inflation.